Journalists are livid at Trump's exclusion of the media from a dinner excursion last night. Fox News media analyst and host of Fox's Media Buzz, Howard Kurtz, tells us tonight from New York the president-elect may already be starting a pattern of distancing himself from reporters. Good evening, Howie. You know, having been chief White House correspondent, having been in many press pools, I know the answer to this from the press point of view, but provide some perspective here. How big a deal is this that President-elect Trump ditched his press pool to go out to dinner last night?
Brett, good evening. I'm sure most people would say he's entitled to take his wife out for a steak at the 21 Club without having a bunch of pesky reporters follow him. And one pool reporter was reduced to going to a restaurant that Trump was rumored to be dining at, and then not being allowed to wait outside the 21 Club, and wrote the following. At 9:38 p.m., the pool peered around the dumpster and watched Ivanka Trump and her husband get into the SUV. But the larger issue that Trump needs to understand here is really important. A protective pool acts as a body watch, just in case something unfortunate happens to the next leader of the free world. Journalists also get to see who's coming and going, if he's interacting with voters, or if the motorcade gets into an accident. At the same time, President-elect Barack Obama ditched his press pool in Hawaii 8 years ago, and it wasn't treated as a national melodrama.
So I guess the question is, what if President Trump goes further in somehow restricting media access?
Well, that's the fear in the press corps, Brett, especially after candidate Trump didn't allow reporters on his plane, and they had to chase him around the country by flying commercial. Now, there is concern that a president who ran against the media might exclude journalists in other settings, important meetings, or even on foreign trips. Now, Trump hasn't said this, so it could turn out to be a blip as this lifelong businessman grows accustomed to the loss of privacy.
You know, Howie, we haven't seen much of Donald Trump other than that 60-minute sit-down, so is it changing? I mean, what happened to the guy who loves to talk to the media all the time?
Exactly. I'm surprised the president-elect hasn't held a news conference as Barack Obama did 3 days after his election. And so he's allowed all this speculation to swirl around him about appointments and for a somewhat breathless narrative to take hold that the transition is in deep disarray. He could take that on rather than leaving it to his aides. Now, Trump has only appointed 2 people to the White House staff, so he may have his hands full trying to put a government together. He is certainly not going to be a press-shy president, Brett, but it's an odd time to cede the spotlight at a time when there are protests around the country and so much polarization surrounding his election. Brett?
Sure. Doing a lot of work behind the scenes, one would guess. Howie, thank you.